This is happening and you're not going to stop it. But there is something you can do about it. In today's video, I'm going to break down how Elon is saying, hey, listen, you can fake fiat, but you can't fake energy, Bitcoin. And I'm also going to show you once again and tie it in a little bit deeper how Larry Fink is all in on Bitcoin. He is the number two holder in Bitcoin in the world. Trump, out of the billionaires, is now one of the top holders in Bitcoin. Guys, I've been trying to tell you since 2020, as you look this way, there's always another narrative going on this way. But here's my warning to you: is the hopium, the hype, and you're waiting for one asset to go to a certain price. You got to be very careful with this stuff, guys. Here's the truth: the person who can remain in the market the longest, the person who has sickening discipline, and the person who has actually a financial ecosystem that they feed on a daily basis is going to win. But if you're waiting for price predictions, hopium, you're going to get wrecked, because this market looks like a roller coaster. In the short term, this is what it looks like. It's like this. In the long term, it's like this. Pay attention. The fiat system has gone like this, and Bitcoin has gone like this. Your dollar went down 24% in its purchasing power from 2020 to 2024. My XRP went up 800%, and my Bitcoin went up 200%. I'm not worried about tomorrow's price. I'm not worried about 2 months from now. I am in a long-term mindset. I exit when it goes up a certain amount, and I buy in when it goes down. And I built a monster ecosystem, which I'm going to share with you on the back end of every video. I'm not sharing with you what you have to do, but I'm working to do is to beat inflation. So let's dive right in. So the first thing I want to show you guys here is what Elon was talking about. So Musk basically talked about Bitcoin is based on energy, right? You have to understand that we're switching into a new system. We're moving from the traditional industrial system to quantum, to energy, to connectivity, to public and private sector coming together. You're not going to stop it, but you can figure out how to invest properly in it. And I'm here to tell you the traditional retirement system is dead. The 60-40 split, 60% stocks, 40% bonds. Guys, the bond market is destroyed. They're trying to save the bond market through stable coins. Okay. So he said Bitcoin is based on energy. You can issue fake currency, and every government in history has done so, but it's impossible to fake energy. Within the code, there's 21 million Bitcoin. Okay. It's based on a fixed supply. 5% of the supply is left. That's it. They're going to mine it for 116 years. Okay. They only mine 450 a day. And there's about 1,700 Bitcoin being bought by treasuries every single day, and only 450 is being mined. It's the most scarce asset in the world. Okay. So remember Larry Fink, guys. Remember Larry Fink told us it's used for money laundering, right? Trump told you it's like thin air. There's nothing to it. He said the same narrative, and both of them flipped the script on you in 2023. Check this out. This is just yesterday.
Our Bitcoin IBIT is now over $100 billion.
I know, so from nothing not that long ago.
And 2 years ago, zero.
Yeah,
so
I know. Well, you weren't always a huge proponent.
2 years ago, like, digest what he just said. 2 years ago, it was at zero. Over 100. What did he say? Let me just hear that again. 100 billion?
2 years ago, zero.
Yeah,
so
I know. Well, nothing not that long ago.
And 2 years ago, over $100 billion.
$100 billion.
Nothing not that long ago.
And 2 years ago, zero.
Yeah,
so
I know. Well, you weren't always a huge proponent of crypto, as we know.
Yeah, but love it now. But I grow and learn.
I heard you say that on 60 Minutes.
I did say
Yeah.
I saw that on 60 Minutes. Guys, I'm teaching you the game, man. How did 60 Minutes all of a sudden, 48 hours later from a flash crash, then they have something about 1929? And I shared with you guys, this is just like 1929 on Friday. And then 60 Minutes says the exact same thing that I talked about on Sunday, 48 hours later. Guys, this is exactly like 1929. There was 11,000 banks underneath the Federal Reserve. Okay. They're not federal nor the reserve. They bailed out the banks underneath the Federal Reserve. They monopolized all the community banks. People lost everything, guys, everything. The fiat system, the traditional fiat system has to change, guys. They're going to suck it up into stable coins. They're going to suck the debt up into Bitcoin. The new system is going to be Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Solana, HBAR, XLM. There's going to be a new infrastructure built on top of blockchain technology, and those who invest in the picks and shovels are going to be the wealthiest. Now, listen to what he says right here as well.
I guess, it seems as though things are working on all fronts for you. Is this as good as it can get, Larry?
Well, it is gratifying. I mean, what really identified us in the third quarter, the breadth of where we grew. It wasn't just one business area. It was from cash to our systematic equity, our AI-based equity team that grew 30 billion over the course of the year, 10 billion in the quarter. Crypto, our digital asset platform, our private markets platform, our
crypto, digital markets, and private platform, guys. There is a big change happening right now. Okay, this is really important. We keep seeing how Trump is now allowing people to put alternative investments, private investments, cryptocurrency into 401ks. We're moving to it's still going to be somewhat centralized, but what I mean by decentralized is the old era is dead. I need you to like move your brain from left hemisphere over to right hemisphere. I want you to think of people coming together. That's what the tariffs are about, right? In 1913, before 1913, okay, I'm just going to bring you guys back on my screen here. Okay, so before 1913, before the Federal Reserve was created, we used to tariff other countries, right? So we had relatively low taxes. Then after 1913, the Federal Reserve created a group of bankers on Jekyll Island. They created the Federal Reserve. They started taxing us. Okay, think about that. Then they started controlling the money supply and job markets, and they did it through interest rates. So the key to understand here, and this is the key thing, and this is how I built my Capital DR strategy, is I'm just trying to beat inflation. That's it, guys. I'm just working to beat inflation. And it got really bad in 1971. After 1971, we detached from the gold standard. The wealth gap became massive. And the wealth gap keeps going like this. The poor, the middle class and working class keep getting poor. The rich keep getting richer from 2020 to 2025. Who got wealthier? The public didn't, but the tech companies did. The top 1% became extremely, extremely wealthy. Now the top 1% is going into Bitcoin. Gold is at an all-time high. Silver's at an all-time high. So those are your key factors. With Bitcoin at an all-time high, gold at an all-time high, and silver at an all-time high, there's your signal. Why are those all at an all-time high? It's easy. It's debasement of currency. Okay. The US dollar is debasing. The currency is debasing. Worldwide fiat currencies are debasing because you can't just keep printing money in a lower interest rate environment. They're going to lower interest rates and it's going to get even worse. And that's why they're positioning themselves in Bitcoin. That's why Elon's talking about Bitcoin. That's why Trump is one of the wealthiest billionaires in Bitcoin. That's why his son now is 80 million in net worth through cryptocurrency. The Trump family has gained more wealth in a short amount of time than they will in 24 months. They will make more wealth in crypto than they will with their whole real estate empire. Think about that for just a moment. The third wealthiest person in Mexico has 70% of his wealth in Bitcoin. Okay. So let's take out Bitcoin. Let's take out any asset class and let's just talk about inflation. Okay. If you don't beat inflation every year, they say healthy is 2 to 3%. But guys, it's not a 2 to 3% inflation. If you really look at it, it's about 10%. So it becomes 10% more expensive or the devaluation of your currency to live. And just think about how you have felt over the last couple. Would you agree or disagree? Comment down below that it became more expensive to live. Yes or no? Okay. So if the answer is yes, that's a debasement of your currency. Things aren't getting more expensive. Your dollar's becoming worth less. My parents bought their house in 1973 for $25,000. It's worth $400,000 now. That is not the growth in their asset. That's a debasement of their currency. If they sold that house today, the same brick and mortar, they could only buy a house in the same neighborhood. It didn't grow. But if they would have put that money into investments that beat inflation, they would have been multimillionaires from that asset. Does that make sense? Right? So you have to look at it. I don't know. Is it real estate that grows around 7% on average? Is it the S&P that anywhere from 6 to 15%? It depends on where the market's going. Is it insurance? Right? I love insurance where I'm getting market-like returns. I'm indexing the market, but I also can leverage at 5% to beat the hurdle rate to accelerate and crush inflation. So that's how I built my strategy. I don't care if you invest in Bitcoin. I don't care if it's XRP. Here's why I do it. I am destroying inflation. People lost 24% of their purchasing power from 2020 to 2024. My XRP went up 800%. My Bitcoin went up 200%. My overall portfolio went up 340%. And we became seven-figure investors and seven-figure entrepreneurs. And now we're feeding that machine. It's capital DR. I'm a very disciplined, consistent person. I operate in systems spiritually, physically, and financially. C is cash flow. Okay. I create cash flow. Cash is trash. I transmute my cash flow. Okay. So with cash flow from my businesses that I've created through over the past couple of years or past, 8 years, is what I do with the cash flow. And that would be your job. Your job would be your cash flow. Its first step is I take 10%, I put it into cash generating dividends that do what? Create more cash flow. With cash flow, I move it into A, appreciating assets that have fixed supplies that are deflationary. I love XRP and Bitcoin. They both have fixed supplies. They're deflationary. They're going to continue to go up over time as your fiat debases over time. Okay. Bitcoin has a fixed supply. It's the most scarce asset in the world. Okay. It's completely opposite of the fiat system. And so I store my excess capital in assets that appreciate. Bitcoin, I'm never selling. We'll move it over to L, leverage. Okay. So all my other assets in crypto, I'm exiting 50% on the way up. Okay. The reason why I do that is because I'm not going to just sit in one asset class. It's energy. Remember, it needs to move. That's richest man in Babylon. If you're not moving your money and diversifying and building a fortress around you, wisdom of King Solomon, you're at the mercy of someone else. Okay. You have to make money move. So when my assets appreciate, I put it into protection. That's the first thing. I max fund my policies. Okay, protection is a powerful, powerful tool. I use cash value life insurance. Ironically, the tax code 7702A was created in 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created, where you can borrow against cash value life insurance tax-free to do what? Buy more cash generating assets. That's why people get a bad rap in insurance, because the agents aren't setting them up properly. You need cash in them. You need actual money in them to make them work. They're cash value life insurance. You have the cost of insurance. It's not a retirement policy. It's an insurance policy that we are legally and able to, based on tax code, borrow against us. Think about that. I profit. You sit in an asset, you profit, and you just hold like this. I profit. I put it into insurance. I turned $1 into $2 because now I can leverage this and make $3. So I can leverage this. My cash value still stays. It's insured. It's protected. It's getting market-like returns. I borrow at 5%. Now L, leverage, CAPL, capital. Leverage, I borrow at 5%. And what do? I beat the hurdle rate. My job is to beat inflation. Inflation plus my borrowing. Borrowing is at 5, inflation's at 3, my hurdle rate's 8. So if I can go out in the market and make 8%, that means my cash value is still growing over here. Haven't touched it. I borrowed from the insurance company, and now richest man in Babylon. I took that money and I go get an asset like Bitcoin that grows 50% every single year. When it appreciates, because there's no, like everybody got liquidated on that Friday, there's no liquidation risk here. Zero. You don't even have to pay it back. It comes off your death benefit. But I do pay it back. So when it goes up, the asset, boom, I pay it back. And guess what? I have free Bitcoin now. You have to start thinking differently. And everybody's like, leverage. Oh my gosh, I'm talking about responsible leverage. Most people in America are leveraged. You get leverage to buy a car. You get leverage to buy a house. You get leverage to your iPhone. You get leverage to go on vacation. We use leverage to become wealthier. Okay. Wealthy people use leverage to become wealthier. Working class uses leverage to take away from the future self and become poor. That's Grant Cardone saying. Okay. We just have to start to think different. That's it. Take all the emotion out of it. Take the hopium out of it. I hope these prices go to where people say they're going to go, but I'm not waiting for it. As everybody's waiting for that, I built ecosystems. I'm feeding them. My cash flow gets bigger and bigger. Every single week, I give myself a pay raise with cash generating dividends. Every time I get paid for those, I give my family a future shot with beating inflation through deflationary assets. Okay. So that's my exact system. If you'd like to learn my system, want to be very clear. We do not invest people's crypto. We do not have a investment platform. Those are scammers reaching out to you. Down below in the description of this YouTube video, you can sign up to meet with my team to do a free consultation, a strategy call to see if you're qualified to work with us. I teach Capital DR. I teach my whole system, my ecosystem. I'm a financial educator. I'm very proud. We've helped 13,000 people worldwide. or on my social media platform. Click the link. If you'd like to set an appointment with my insurance team as well, we do teach people properly how to set these up and properly how to use them. My team will show you my whole ecosystem. I think that's all I got for you guys today. I'm out traveling, so different studios, so I'm being a little bit quieter. People are sleeping right now, so we're doing a little staycation out here. So I love you guys. I appreciate you, as we always say. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.